Chapter 6 And Action. Steve the director and his entire crew stared up at the rock climbing wall where Matt and Mr. McGuire were hanging from their harness. I said action, Steve shouted a little louder, beginning to get frustrated, but Mr. McGuire stayed put, clinging to the wall for dear life. Action, that means move, Matt told his father. I can't move, Mr. McGuire said through clenched teeth. Sure you can, Matt said cheerfully. See? He pushed away from the rock wall, swinging out on his rope, and then coming around to Mr. McGuire's other side. I'm out, I'm in, I'm out. He swung back around to the place where he started. Not helping, Mr. McGuire gasped. A trickle of sweat ran down his temple. Dad, what's wrong? Matt asked. Bad rope climbing incident, his father replied. The memory of climbing a rope in high school gym class flashed through Mr. McGuire's mind. Even only 2 feet off the ground, he'd been terrified. He'd fallen off the rope, and the whole class had laughed at him. But Matt was still confused. What do you mean? He asked his father. Too high, Mr. McGuire said hoarsely. His knuckles were white from gripping the rock wall. Action, the director shouted impatiently from the below. Dad, are you afraid of heights? Matt asked. Uh-huh, Mr. McGuire nodded. Matt looked at him carefully. Now it all made sense. Why didn't you say so? I didn't want to let you down, Mr. McGuire told him. On the ground, Steve folded his arms across his chest. People, you're not making me happy, he called. One more time, chug and smile. Matt ignored the director. Dad, you didn't have to do this for me, he said quietly. I know, but I wanted to, Mr. McGuire replied. Hey, you up there, Steve hollered. Are you scared or just stupid? Matt's face flushed with anger. He looked down at the director. What did you say? He asked slowly. I wasn't talking to you, kid. I was talking to that 180-pound of useless fat hanging next to you, the director replied, sharply. Matt turned to his father. I'll be back, he growled, tightening the chin strap of his helmet. He flipped over and sailed down the wall head first. When he reached the ground, he did a complete somersault, landing on his feet and pointing his fist at the director. Hey, buddy, Matt said furiously. That's the best dad in the world hanging up there. He jerked his thumb toward his father. You're not good enough to point your little cameras at him, so listen up. This is how it's going to work. You're going to stop yelling at my dad, and I'll let you keep your kneecaps. Yes? The director stared at him in shock. Yes, he replied meekly. Now cut him loose, get me a blended, and that's a wrap, Matt commanded. For a moment the room was silent, then from the back of the room came the sound of someone clapping. Robin, Steve's hired assistant, wiped a tear from her eye as she applauded Matt's performance. One by one, the rest of the crew began to clap until the whole room was whistling and cheering. The crew lifted Matt onto their shoulders. Let's go get my dad, Matt shouted, lifting his hands in the air triumphantly. As Matt and the crew moved off to go help Mr. McGuire, Steve turned to the young woman who was operating the camera. Did you get that? He asked breathlessly. The camera op grinned and held up her thumb, nodding yes. Chapter 7 Lizzie walked slowly down the hallway to Kate's bedroom, the only part of the house that wasn't packed with partygoers. She was just about to knock on the door when she overheard Kate say, I know what time it is there, but this is a big thing, Mom. Lizzie paused and peeped through the slightly open door. Kate was pacing back and forth, holding a cordless phone to her ear. Mom, they pushed me into my own cake. Kate cried into the phone. They didn't even sing happy birthday. She used my birthday party to invite her own friends. Kate paused, listening. Then she said, maybe if you were here, my friends would have been allowed to come. Come. Mom, could you just come home, please? What? Mom, you're breaking up. Can you hear me? There was silence. Not sure exactly what to do, Lizzie waited until it was clear Kate had hung up the phone. Then she knocked gently. Go away, Kate yelled. But Lizzie couldn't go away and leave Kate like this, so she stepped into the room. Kate was wiping frosting from her dress with a towel. Are you okay? Lizzie asked. Do I look okay? Kate snapped. You look like you could use some help, Lizzie said. Wrong again, McGuire, Kate said rudely. I don't need your help. This is going nowhere, and there's a big cookie at the mall, with my name on it. Miranda and Gordo were right, Lizzie thought. Kate wasn't worth it. Whatever, Lizzie snapped back at her. Happy birthday. I'm out. She spun on her heel to leave. But then a loud crash came from the living room. Kate groaned. Lizzie turned back and saw Kate slumped on the bed, holding her head in her hands. Is this the party you wanted? Lizzie asked gently. I want a few friends for movies, Kate told Lizzie sincerely. But my mom and I but my mom said I should have a grown-up party instead. Then she left town. She sighed. So I'm stuck here with 100 of my cousin's closest friends. We came to see you, Kate, Lizzie told her. Not entirely true, but... Well, here I am, Kate said sadly. You must love seeing me like this. Oh, yeah. I do like seeing you like this. Like a normal person, Lizzie said. Kate gave her a small smile, then looked down at her hands. At that moment, Miranda and Gordo came down the hall, munching slices of cake and looking for Lizzie. They arrived at Kate's room just in time to hear Lizzie say, "Look, my mom's picking us up at 10 at the mall. How about you just ditch this party and catch a movie with a few friends?" "Really?" Kate said, surprised. Miranda and Gordo didn't like the sound of this at all. They stared at Lizzie in horror. "Sure," Lizzie told her. Then she stood up to leave and noticed Miranda and Gordo standing in the doorway looking stunned. "Oh, hi guys," Lizzie said. "Kate is going with us." "What are we going to see?" Kate asked excitedly as she followed Lizzie out of the room. As soon as they were gone, Miranda turned to Gordo. "Oh man, Kate Sanders coming with us, not part of the plan." Shaking their heads, they followed Lizzie and Kate. In the living room, music blasted at full volume. People were still dancing around and on top of the furniture. A group played a game of tug-of-war with the living room curtains, while two guys in leather jackets and tinted glasses pretended to sword fight with two of Mrs. Sanders' flowered umbrellas. A guy sitting on the couch unscrewed the top from a jar of mustard and poured the contents all over his shirt. Lizzie and her friend shuddered. This was a grown-up party? Kate turned to them. "Lizzie, you guys go," she said. "I can't leave my house like this." Just then, she saw a tall guy pick up an expensive crystal egg from the mantelpiece. Grinning, he tossed the fragile object to his friend. Kate almost fell over. It was her mother's crystal. "Don't do that. Give me that," Kate shrieked at him, elbowing her way through the crowd. "I'm positive that helping Kate play keep away with statues is not part of the plan," Gordo said. They watched as Kate wrestled the egg out of one of the guy's hands and returned it to the mantel. "We can't leave her here like this," Lizzie said. "She hates us," Miranda replied dryly. "We can leave her." "I couldn't agree more," said Gordo. "And you want to know why? Because I'm bad. But this party is worse." "You're right," Lizzie said. What this party needs is a mom, so I'm calling mine." "What?" Miranda gaped at her in horror. Obviously her friend was losing it, fast. "Let's get that big cookie and you quick. You're talking crazy." "No, it's the right thing to do," Lizzie said, her mind already made up. "But we'll be so grounded," Miranda argued. "After all she's said and done to us, that would be so wrong." "No, when our moms see how mature we've been, they'll be so proud of us. We'll be completely off the hook," Lizzie told her. She left her friends behind as she set off through the crowd in search of a phone. Miranda and Gordo looked at each other. "That never works," Gordo said. "You think it's gonna, but then it doesn't." Miranda shook her head. "We were so close," she said sadly.